Myanmar defeated Sri Lanka 2-0. Then they came up against Thailand, lost in straight sets to them, but it wasn't really straight sets, it was incredibly tight. A couple of sets that went to 17, so they pushed them all the way. They'll fancy their chances here, particularly with a semi-final berth and therefore a medal up for grabs. Whoever makes it through to the semis is guaranteed a medal. Zin Ko, the captain, and Min Kant are the male players, Nin Wai and Po, the female players.
Stepping onto the court with skill and precision, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it out for Team Malaysia.
Out come Malaysia with it all to play for. Lost their opening match 2-1 to Thailand, could have beaten them, got so close. After that they cruised past Sri Lanka, and so victory here would see them into the semis. Amirul Zaswan, Mohamed Fetri starting for the men, Nur Zubeda and Azaira for the women, Adina Villa and Shahar Lil on the bench.
Amirul Zaswan, the captain, and Petri, the main striker of this team.
Semi-final slot up for grabs. Whoever wins this goes into day 5 to face India. Whoever loses, well, that's it, you're out of the competition. Whoever wins is guaranteed a medal, bronze at the very least. Whoever loses goes home empty-handed.
As you said, a virtual quarter-final now between Malaysia and Myanmar. Malaysia really had a good game against Thailand, but then Myanmar as well, giving them a fight. They're all to play for here.
The only advantage you could say would be in favour of Myanmar, in that they only played 2 sets. So they should be a little bit fresher in the legs.
Malaysia to serve, player in. Pause.
While this game begins, on the other court, we've got the other 2 teams playing with Thailand and Sri Lanka.
Taste of things to come. That's how tight this match is going to be. One of the best rallies of the day already in the first point.
Throughout this tournament, we've often reflected on Thailand's own rivalries with different countries on this circuit. How about these two? Myanmar and Malaysia always competing at the highest level. What's the kind of rivalry they have, if there is a rivalry, that is?
Malaysia.
Myanmar were a little bit late to join the ISTAF fold and didn't take part in the first couple of Super Series, but then they ended up hosting one themselves in Naypyidaw, the capital. That was constructed. It was a city that was built out of nowhere, really. You've got Yangon or Rangoon in the south, and then You go halfway up the road to Mandalay, as it were, and you have Naypyidaw there, and we went there for an ISTAF Super Series in 2014, and there were some wonderful facilities, and it's when they really started coming into the ISTAF fold then. They took a lot of persuading, but once they were in, and they've been playing, well, we've mentioned it over the past few days, but Myanmar, they've been playing Chinlon, as it's called, cane ball for the past 1,500 years. So they've got a rich tradition there. And as soon as they came into the fold, they started dominating Malaysia, and they were getting quite close to Thailand. What they're very good at as well is the hoop, which we don't have here. You only have that really on the biggest of stages at the King's Cup, which is held every year in Thailand, and it's when you have your entire squad of 6, I think it is, just kicking the ball up in the air and trying to get it through a hoop, and they have a certain period of time in which to score as many points as possible.
Myanmar have started really well, 4-1.
4-1. Now, Malaysia.
So many matches in this group decided by fine margins between Thailand, Malaysia, Myanmar. If Myanmar run away with this early on, which, well, I thought they were about to do there, but back come Malaysia. So that's it. No one's going to run away with this early on.
And talking about this group, the 4th team is Sri Lanka, and they were really up against it because you're up against Thailand, Myanmar and Malaysia with that kind of history in the sport. Sri Lanka, who obviously made a lot, or they've got a cricketing history. They've also got a fair bit of rugby going on there. Meanwhile, there's a next challenge here.
Challenge placed by Myanmar. Video referee calls the coaches over. Probably needed to have them poised a little bit earlier. And they have to come in at exactly the same time so that no one is given preference. Challenge proves to be unsuccessful, and Malaysia have dragged it back.
Not over. Point. Malaysia. Confirm. 4-3. Malaysia.
3 points clear at one point, Myanmar. And then all of a sudden, 4-all. I think we could guess that that was going to be coming.
Stop. Here, Denmark. Whoa. Denmark.
Put it out wide, looks like. Yes, and Myanmar get that point. How easy or difficult is it to maybe go from one sport to another, which may have similar skills? Because Like for example, a lot of Aussies would tell me that you've got a culture of kabaddi here in India, so you can build a rugby team as well. Not talking about some of these countries who play a lot of Sepaktakraw traditionally, but may not be the strongest in football. Whereas we've already seen Brazil in this tournament, and they seem to have a footballing approach, just the body language, the way they chest the ball or the way they head it.
You can play Sepaktakraw in a footballing way, but it's not going to get you very far. You need almost to unlearn what you've done from football. We've seen certain teams like the Poland women's team playing a very header-based game, and you almost need to unlearn that, particularly when you're on the biggest of stages and you've got to take the plunge and start doing roll spikes and sunback spikes. Otherwise, the game's not really going to progress. Of course, for that, you need people teaching you, and you need to be able to teach players from an early age. So it needs to become a school sport.
Yes, learning the sunback spikes and the roll spikes, they are so typical of this sport that you really need to practice that over and over again. It's one thing to jump high up in the air, go upside down, but then the landing, you've got to also land with.
It's the equivalent of learning pole vaulting, ice skating, where you do the jumps, ski jumping. It's one of those things where you've just got to take the plunge, and rather them than me.
But you had some decent footballing skills that you showcased for us today, while Pramita and I were trying to make sense of how we could play Sepaktakraw.
I'd venture to say there were Sepaktakraw skills, but none taken.
Well, I'd like to see you spike.
Malaysia time out.
(10-5) to Myanmar, and a timeout called because it's needed by Malaysia.
Malaysia just getting into that huddle, row themselves up as they head back. But Myanmar with a 5-point lead, feeling very comfortable. Remember, everything at stake in this particular match, because whoever wins this moves to the semi-final. And Thailand have already qualified. As expected on the other court, they have beaten Sri Lanka.
Malaysia.
Delicately done with the sole of the shoe, Mohamed Fetri.
6-10.
Myanmar get their 11th. Sorry, it was Min Khan there.
The sunback spike there, right foot over the right shoulder.
11, 6.
Seen a little bit less often in the men's game or among male players.
5.
They tend to be roll spikers.
And again, that's what I'd like to ask you in the men's game. Even we expect roll spikes to be more predominant with the taller players, But even the men players who aren't as tall prefer the roll spike.
Force of habit, it's more efficient. If you can do it, you can get a lot more power on it. So if you can do it, then you should. I suppose it's the equivalent of playing with a double-handed backhand in tennis. If you can do it, you should. Maybe the single-handed backhand looks nicer, but you won't get as much power on it.
Yes, not everyone's Roger Federer.
13-7. Malaysia got it back to 4-all early on, and then it's been one-way traffic since then. Malaysia taking a timeout, but it hasn't stemmed the flow.
Also, it isn't easy playing this game because it's the last game of the day. You've had a long day. Yes, everything's at stake. There may be a bit of tired limbs out there as well.
I think there certainly are some tired limbs out there. 4 days into the tournament. And look at that for a block. Incredibly well done. Shahril has come on as a substitute.
There's a taped serve. And Myanmar now have got the set point.
Set by 14.
Myanmar have won the first set against Malaysia in this deciding game. It is a Group A encounter and Myanmar are up 1-0, having taken the first set 15-8. The ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025 Bihar continues. We are into the mixed quadrant event. Thailand have already made it past Group A, winning all their matches. And now the winner of this match will proceed through to the semi-final. Into the second set now, as Myanmar search for their passage through to the semi-final in the mixed quadrant event at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. Malaysia have to turn things around in this set, give themselves a chance of making it through to the next round. As Drew said earlier during the first set, this is the group of death. Thailand, Myanmar, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. Thailand are already through. There's a good block.
Only 0.1 on their own service, Myanmar. It's all going their way at the moment. Malaysia will be thinking to themselves, hang on, a couple of hours ago, we were taking it to Thailand and all but squeezing past them. And here they are, a mere 13 points away from going out of the tournament.
That was a good finish by Minkant again. The setup wasn't the best. It was deep inside his own court.
Well, it was a long rally, and it wasn't just the pick up a service, save, set, spike. There was a lot going on. Players had been moved around the court, and so it gets more and more difficult to set close to the net the deeper you get into a point.
Malaysia. One, two.
You've often referred to the structure that Thailand have created, a good club competition, also Japan and their universities. What kind of a structure do Malaysia have back in their country, if you know?
Well, they've had local competitions, club competitions, since, well, for decades and decades. The Malaysian Sepaktakraw Federation, the PSTM, Persatuan Sepaktakraw Malaysia, set up, they federated things a good number of years ago, and then 2014 they brought in a regional competition, so a provincial competition, the STL, the Sepaktakraw League, and that's gone from strength to strength over the years. Started out as purely a male competition and then became male and female. You're allowed a certain number of import players as well, but it's primarily to build up the quality of the Malaysian players, and that has worked. We've seen Malaysia, particularly in the men's, getting closer and closer to Thailand and Myanmar. Obviously it goes in waves. Sometimes Thailand have been dominant for so many years, and then you'll get generations in certain countries that'll do very well, but the provincial competition has really helped the Malaysian game.
2, 4.
But at the moment it's Myanmar who are clearly dominating this match. They had won the first set, now in the second taking a 2-point lead. And that's what it is, isn't it? That if you want to create a team at the highest level, and also a league at the domestic level, it will help grow the sport, not only in terms of creating those players, but also getting the crowds involved. Maybe those regional rivalries, generate the interest in the game and whatnot.
Yes, and when it's a good product, when it's the best of the best at provincial level, then you can put it on television, which is the case with the Sepaktakraw League, has been for the past decade. So it's a good made-for-TV product, shown on Friday nights and Saturday nights.
And that's perfect. It's just like most of the major sporting leagues in the world, which focus on the weekend. That's when you get the eyeballs, you get people watching who've got the time and the interest.
Six, 4.
Myanmar not being allowed to run away with this one. Reminder, the semi-final berth is at stake here. Malaysia can turn this one around. They can make it through to the semis. The winner of this match faces India on the morning of day 5. We approach the end of the evening on day 4.
Myanmar.
Yes, it's been day 4 already. Almost all categories taking 2 days each. We started off with the quads across men and women. Then we moved to the doubles. And today we've started the mixed quadrants. And tomorrow, the most traditional form, the Regu, one that I'm really looking forward to, particularly to see the serve.
Myanmar.
Myanmar maintaining the buffer and just extending it there, winning a point on their own service. They're already one own service point to the good, as it were. And now they're 2 up. And they confirm that. 4 points clear now and 6 points away from a berth in the semi-final.
Malaysia, come out.
And Malaysia have just taken the time out.
Hamza. Player in.
Malaysia chasing the game here. They've already lost the first set and trailing in the second against Myanmar for a spot in the semi-final of the mixed quadrant.
Malaysia.
The break seems to have just helped them gain a bit of composure, and they get a point as well. Using the toes to get that across the line rather than the full flat surface of his foot. Myanmar moved to double figures.
Ten, 6.
Nice set there. It's put out reasonably wide, which is where you want it, or it's where Shahril wanted it. Good extension as well there, good height. And a good attempted block. Good tackle all round.
10.
Tape service as well from Shahril. That's what the doctor ordered, assuming that the doctor is Malaysian.
Then 8.
Off can't. And just after the timeout, it looks like there's a bit of life in the Malaysian campaign.
They've won 3 in a row. Admittedly, 2 of them when receiving service. But you've still got to do that. You've still got to fulfill that part of the bargain.
9.
And that's what Myanmar will be looking to do here. They'll be getting nervous the nearer they get to the end of the set, and that's what they needed. That's what the doctor ordered, if the doctor is from Myanmar. Shahalril firing that one into the net. Myanmar just 4 points away now.
11, 9.
Good work from Shahalril, the substitute there, though. Cushioned it nicely with his head, but bent down, leant backwards, took it perfectly on his forehead, and then it went backwards, enabling his captain, the number 8, Amirul Zazran, to fire that one back up for him so that he could spike it at the net.
You could see the Myanmar captain Zin Koko really pump the air as they won that point. It's 12-10. Malaysia clawed back a little bit. Maybe their coach just quoted Michael Caine from Interstellar. Do not go gentle into the good night. Fight, fight, fight.
10.
Straight onto the wall.
By Malaysia.
Well, that's got to hurt. Almost like a football hitting the wall before
11, 12.
the goal during a free kick.
I'm going to take issue with you there, Nishad. May have been taken on by Interstellar, but it's a poem by Welsh poet Dylan Thomas. Go not gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And that's what they're doing. But the light is dying for Malaysia. They are 2 points away. Myanmar taking a timeout just to stretch things out a little bit. Why are you walking here?
Ready? 13, 11.
Back to the action, 2 points away. Still 2 points away.
Malaysia.
As Malaysia rage against the dying of the light.
Yes, earlier I added the fight, fight, fight because I couldn't remember the rage, rage, rage line. Although I must say Interstellar is one of my favorite movies.
12, 13.
Not what you need when you are desperate to stay alive. That one nowhere near the net from the substitute Shahalril, and that sets up match points, semi-final berth points for Myanmar.
14, 12. Myanmar.
They're going to challenge it.
Malaysia
We've got to wait.
challenge.
Thailand have challenged this point. I mean, Malaysia, sorry, have challenged this point. It's almost like a reflex, isn't it? We are around match point, and I said Thailand are going to challenge this because we've seen Thailand do that time and again. It's almost like a reflex.
Exactly. Thailand and challenge seem to go hand in hand. And again, you might as well use the challenge. Remain in the tournament a little bit longer, but they're already calling over the coaches. Didn't take long to review. One last throw of the dice, and it came up snake eyes as far as Malaysia are concerned.
Myanmar are through to the semi-finals of the mixed quadrant event here at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025.
15-12 game. Player on the red line.
It's been a good performance by them today, going past Malaysia 2-0, 15-8, 15-12. Along with Thailand, they are going to go to the semi-final. A disappointing end to the Malaysian campaign in the mixed quadrant event. Here's the replay. Yeah, he was fine.
Could have been that he touched the net on the way down as well. That was something that they would have looked at. Min Kant, but he didn't. And Myanmar are through. Shame for Malaysia, they came so close to upending Thailand, and that would have changed the whole complexion of the group.